meeting for September 21st, 2020. Welcome. And with that call to order, Mr. Goodman, could we ask you for the invitation, please?
Let us pray. Our Father and our God in heaven, we invoke your guidance for this meeting that we are about to hold in virtual state here. Even though we're separated by a physical distance, we feel that our hearts will be united, and we ask for your guidance as we step forward to represent the citizens of St. Mary's in the serious matters of governance and quality of life issues. Humble our hearts as we seek your guidance. Make us receptive to your guidance and keep us mindful of our words and our deeds that we might reflect what you would have us to reflect in all ways. Watch over our public servants and our military and the people who serve us to protect us and keep us safe. They are being tested in ways that we could not have imagined, and we ask for your divine guidance and to still the hearts of people who would bring them harm. We ask that your will be done in all ways, and in all ways that we would do your will. And we'll be very careful to give you the praise and the honor and the glory for anything good that we will do in your name. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goodman. Really, very nice. Thank you. All right. All right. So I think we may ask you to make sure that you mute your phones, if you would, and we're getting some feedback.
Pledge of allegiance.
Yes. Mr. Goodman, I was going to ask you if you would continue to do that.
Yes, sir, I will. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to preempt you.
No, that was fine. I was going to ask you.
That's okay. We're ready?
Right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. Madam Clerk, can you give us the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Here.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Present.
Councilmember Gant, post 3. Councilmember Gant, post 3. Councilmember Riley, post 4. Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Present.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Present.
Councilmember Gant, post 3. Mayor Morrissey?
Yes, I'm here. Mr. Gant was on the line, wasn't he? Before?
I am here. I think I got my mute reversed or something. I don't know. But can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can. Thank you. All right. So, Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Thank you very much, Council and citizens, for attending tonight. I'd like to move down to approval of the minutes, and I believe we had full attendance for both. So, if I could have a motion for approval of both sets of meeting minutes for August 17th, 2020, the regular City Council meeting minutes, and the executive session meeting minutes.
So moved, Rassi.
Mr. Rassi, and a second from
Second, Williams.
Ms. Williams. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you do the roster?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
A.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey?
Thank you very much. That's marked as unanimous. And now,
Yes,
under presentations, let me check because I think we had, I know something was added. I want to make sure I don't miss it, Madam Clerk. Okay, no, we're good. All right, so the board announcements for vacancies on the Historic Preservation Commission and for the Oak Grove Cemetery Authority. And I would like to speak for Ms. Westbury, who in particular is asking that anyone that is applying, they are in need of financial expertise, business expertise, and in fact, if there are those that may have some kind of funeral cemetery experience or background, that would be most useful for them in managing the Oak Grove Cemetery Authority. So if in particular you have some of those skill sets, please, they're asking if you would fill out the form. If you've got any questions, you can give our city clerk, Deborah Walker-Reed, a call. She'll help you with the form. Thank you. All right, council, we do have two applications for the, or three, excuse me. No, we have just two, correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Planning, two for planning.
For the planning department. And that, so what I would like to do is go down the roster and just ask if you could choose, ladies and gentlemen, between Mr. Keegan Federal Jr. and Ms. Kim Rivera. And I'd just like to start with you, Mr. Jones, if you would.
Mr. Keegan Federal Jr.
Okay. Is there Mr. Goodman?
Mr. Keegan Federal, please.
Yes, thank you, sir. Mr. Gant?
Mr. Federal, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Riley?
Yeah, Mr. Keegan Federal.
Yes. Mr. Rassi?
Mr. Keegan Federal Jr., please.
Yes, sir. And Ms. Williams?
Keegan Federal, please.
Yes, please. All right, thank you. So, Madam Clerk, if you would, with a vote of 6, council, for Mr. Keegan Federal, would you please notify both of the applicants and please make sure you tell Mr. Federal what the scheduled dates are, obviously, and Ms. Rivera, we want to thank her very much if she's on listening for your application, and there are many other positions that will come up during the course of the year, and also other seats on the Planning Commission at other times. So if there's a strong interest, please make sure you stay tuned and see if something might work out for you. Thank you very much, both folks.
Yes, sir. We would just need a motion. We would just need a motion and a second on that, sir, for appointment.
Okay, so may I have a motion to confirm Mr. Federal?
Riley, so moved.
Mr. Riley, how about a second?
Mr. Jones, second.
Thank you. Okay, so Madam Clerk, if you'd go down the roster.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you mark that as unanimous, and then, as we said, follow up. Now, Madam Clerk, I had one, if I am correct, I have one position applicant for the Orange Hall Committee. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. And this afternoon at 4-something, I sent council an email per the conversation at 4-something with Ms. Rivera. She would also like to be considered for the Orange Hall. I did explain that the deadline had passed. It would be up to council if they're willing to accept the application she submitted for planning to also be submitted for Orange Hall. And if not, if council does not choose to accept it due to the deadline passing, it would come up again at the October 5th meeting, as there are 2 seats for Orange Hall.
Well, I think it would be appropriate if she just applied for the Orange Hall position. And we will, as you said, we will be meeting again in just 2 weeks, and that would be appropriate for us to be able to consider it then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, council, we have Ms. Debbie Elsie from St. Mary's, who's applied for the Orange Hall Management Committee. Madam Clerk, from my understanding, do we have to select a position for that person, or do they choose the position, or the committee helps select the position that they should take on the committee?
Sir, yes. So City Council set Orange Hall up where you will appoint to a specific seat and position on Orange Hall.
Right.
And for Orange Hall, Mr. Love was the vice chairman of Orange Hall, and Mr. Giese was the treasurer. So if you do decide to appoint Ms. Debbie tonight, you would need to select which seat you're placing her in, either as the vice chairman or as the treasurer.
Mm-hmm. All right, council, you've seen the qualifications for Ms. Elsie, and if any of you have a preference as far as the position that she might be placed in on the committee, I'd welcome your thoughts.
Mr. Mayor, this is Linda Williams. I think that it would probably be best to appoint Ms. Elsie to the treasurer position.
Okay.
As the vice chair is going to have to take over, and Ms. Elsie at this, I mean, if there's absence of the chairperson, and Ms. Elsie has no experience at this point, so I think the treasurer would be a better position for her to hold.
Okay. All right.
I move that
you
appoint Mrs. Elsie to the treasurer of Orange Hall Committee.
All right. Thank you very much. So I have a motion from Ms. Williams. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Riley.
All right, Mr. Riley. All right, Madam Clerk, can you do any discussion? Sorry. All right, Madam Clerk, then if you could go down the roster for me, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, that's unanimous. And if you would, as you normally do, if you just notify the committee and Ms. Elsie with the schedule,
yes,
et cetera, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ms. Elsie. If you're on listening, we're most grateful. And again, I'd encourage anyone that's interested in city government, participating in city government. Orange Hall Committee is looking for another member, and it's quite an admirable group with an important task. So Deborah Walker-Reed, our city clerk, would be happy to help you fill out the form if you have any questions. Thank you. All right. With that said, let's go to the report on the authorities, boards, commissions, and committees. And we have our finance director on, Jennifer Brown. Jennifer, how are you?
Yes, sir. I'm great. you have the July 2020 report. I was wondering if y'all had any questions, and the report is ending July 31st, and the second line we did leave the one out. I apologize for that, but it's the first month of our fiscal year 2021, and I was wondering if y'all had any questions.
Okay. It's so early in, Jennifer, unless you had some observations or something that you wanted to talk about. I don't have anything.
No, sir, not at this time. Right now, we're just kind of at a standstill with our revenues. Some of our major revenues will start coming in October with our insurance premium tax, and of course, our property taxes. Once we get the millage rate set tonight, we'll get those started, hopefully get those billed out at the 1st of October, so we'll start seeing that major revenue coming in.
All right. Okay. Council, any questions? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And we're looking. Pardon me? Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it, Council, and we'll look forward to next month, and hopefully we can, got that positive direction that we want. So the next thing I'd like to do is set the consent agenda, and so Council, if you got your schedule there for the meeting, we have an old business item A, the minor subdivision request for 703 West Hall Street. Again, we're in the consent agenda. So are we not hearing that? Are we wanting to consent that?
Consent.
We've certainly discussed it an awful lot, so I would say consent.
Consent.
All right, that's satisfactory to everyone? Okay, yep. So that's a consent item. So let's move on to new business. We have the 2020 millage rate adoption ordinance.
Consent.
Consent.
Consent. Consent.
And if I could, thank you very much, staff, and particularly in the finance group, for preparing all of this and getting all the announcements out and in the publications as required. So hard work, and appreciate it. So the next is item B, is the United States Coast Guard lease agreement, and this is go ahead.
Consent.
Consent.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate our good neighbors, and we'll work well with them, and we'll continue to do that. The next is item C, is the St. Mary's annual landscape maintenance contract for 2021 general fund budget.
Consent.
Consent.
The water plant operations for 2021 water sewer fund. I think this is an accounting move.
Consent.
Consent. Consent.
Okay. All right, thank you. St. Mary's Senior Center coordinator position, meal program, and FY 2021 general fund budget ordinance amendment.
Discuss.
Consent.
Discuss.
Okay, so I hear somebody wants to discuss it. Got it. Okay. So St. Mary's Municipal Court calendar.
Consent.
Consent.
Federal Emergency Management Information Sharing Access Agreement regarding the CRS, Community Resource System.
Consent.
Consent. Consent.
Okay. The Cumberland Inlet map amendment on the old mill site property.
Consent.
Consent.
Urban redevelopment powers resolution.
Consent.
Consent.
Okay. Orange Hall fire sprinkler system contract.
Discuss.
Okay. Solar powered portable changeable message signs.
Consent.
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 All right, just bear with me for a minute. Okay, item L, coronavirus facility safety improvements.
Yes.
We want to discuss that. Yeah. All right, so discuss the water meter exchange contract for Master Meter Inc.
Consent.
Consent.
Coast Guard parking lot expansion construction contract.
Consent.
Consent. Consent.
Again, everyone, that's it's a great cooperation between us and the Coast Guard. I think that's going to show very much benefit, and it's ecologically friendly, so we're doing a great job there. Thank you. Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Grant Request.
Consent.
Consent.
CCTV cameras contract for City Hall. Do you want to discuss that, please?
Yep.
Okay. So I got it as a discuss. All right. St. Mary's Fire Department Mobile Eye Fire Inspection Software.
Consent.
Consent.
Okay, fourth quarter town hall meeting, we need to discuss that along with the master plan update. And then the Tyndall Enterprises contract, I believe we need to talk about that with Mr. Holden. Okay. So the council, if you've got your agendas there, just make sure I've got it correct. Madam Clerk, too. I have a consent agenda that includes old business item A, new business item A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, K, M, N, O, Q. Did I get that right, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Mr. Riley,
So,
make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
that's Mr. Riley. All right, Mr. Riley. Okay.
Riley.
How about Mr. Can I have a second?
Second, Williams.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, can you run the roster, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
All
Mayor Morrissey.
right, Madam Clerk, thank you, Council. That's unanimous. And now, at the approval of the agenda, is Mr. Horton still on?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, you called me and asked me to speak about the approval of the agenda before I started.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and council members, I am respectfully pulling items J, L, and P from the agenda. We were looking at a new tool that utilizes state contracts to get construction work done in the city. After further study, I believe that if we use a bid process, we stand a better chance of getting a better price for these items. However, we certainly would like to see the vendors to become a part of that program in the future. But at this time, I think our best avenue is to go for a bid process for all 3 of those items. And so those are being pulled as of now. I'm sorry if this has created any confusion. Thank you for your support.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, when we get
Yes,
ready
sir.
to approve the agenda, it is one motion, and we really highlight the fact that those 3 items are pulled, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, whoever would make the motion, and I have it noted here, and it'll be noted in the minutes.
All right. Now, I have to apologize. Mr. Blackerby, are you on the line? Mr. Horton, do you know if Mr. Blackerby was going to?
I'm here. Sorry, I had trouble with the phone. I am here.
No, that's all right. And my apologies for not introducing you, sir. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. We have an approval of the agenda. Let me make sure I've got this identified correctly, please. All right. So we have an agenda that will include items E. Check me out, Madam Clerk. Item E, item R, and item F, with the removal of item J, item L, and item P. Is that framed correctly, Madam? Okay. Could I have a motion? Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, this is Riley. Did you say item A, or did I mishear you? I thought I heard you say item A, and that's on the consent agenda.
No, sir. You didn't hear me say that. E is an elephant.
I want to be careful.
Okay. E is an elephant, R is in Robert, S is in Sam, and with the removal of J is in John, L is in Larry, and P is in Paul.
Thank you.
Okay. So could I have a motion?
The agenda is read by you.
Okay. Mr. Riley, do I have a second?
Second, Williams.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please run the roster for me?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Mayor, for discussion, I'd like to thank our city manager for removing those items because it made things a lot simpler for them. But anyway, yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay. Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right. Madam Clerk, will you record that approval of the agenda as unanimous? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so, Council, we're going to move on to granting audience to the public, and I think we have on the line Mr. Larry White. Mr. White, are you on?
I'm here, Mayor.
All right. Well, thank you. And as you know, the usual request is your name and address and respect the 5-minute timeline. Thank you, sir.
Larry White, 102 Sylvia's Court in St. Mary's. I'd like to address item E of the agenda, St. Mary's Senior Center Coordinator position and the meal program. Your packet says that you're going to fund $40,000 for the remainder of 2020 for salaries, meals, and programs. When they stopped providing meals for the seniors, at that time there was approximately 80 people they were feeding per day with the meals. Now I figured it out, and at the cost of $8 a meal for 80 meals per day for the next 3 months until Christmas time, that worked out to be about $38,000, and that only leaves you $2,000 for salaries and programs. Now, I think you need to think about that and figure out how many meals you really do want to provide to the seniors. The other thing is that you do have to have, I think, a little more activity. I don't know how you would do that, but you need to have some more activity for the seniors during this period. Right now, the only way we have any contact with the senior center is either going on Facebook, and they have a page on Facebook, or they do call once a week, supposed to call once a week to check on all the seniors. But I think if you fill the coordinator's position, the new coordinator should be more active in providing access to the seniors during this period of the pandemic. And I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you very much for participating, Mr. White. I know it's not the most conducive having to do it over the phone. I appreciate your flexibility. Mr. Horton.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want to frame this particular item for us? And then I think, Council, if you don't mind, we could just go into discussion and then determine the vote.
All right, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the funding source for the items mentioned, the meal program and the position, meal program and the position, is being calculated from basically next week until the end of the year, and from there our regular budget will pick up. The funding source is the CARES Act that came in. That's what it's designed to do. One of the eligible things is expenses for food delivery to residents, including, for example, senior citizens and other vulnerable populations to enable compliance with the COVID for public health precautions. It also allows the director to get on scene, help out with the meal program, none of that, but also start working on programs for when the center does open again. We do have the flexibility that if we need to, we can come back and ask for more money out of the CARES money to be able to keep the program going. But we calculated that at an average, and I want to say somewhere around 50. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that right now. Well, the food cost was figured. Well, that's the whole thing. I apologize for that. But that's kind of where we're going. This is not going to be a delivery service like we've had in the past. There will be some limited delivery that will be available for our patrons. They have to be a member of the senior center, and they also have to be a part of the vulnerable population, and they'll be able to come to we're going to actually have it here at City Hall at the community center. They'll be able to pull up in front of the community center and pick up their meals and go home from there. So that's kind of changing it. The only ones that will be delivered are those individuals that have needed transportation in the past via our van that we've picked up in the past that don't have transportation. So those will be the only ones that we'll be delivering to. So that's kind of the short synopsis of the whole thing. So any questions?
One thing you can help me with, Mr. Horton, what you're calling the old Department of Labor, the community center?
Yes, sir, I am. That, if you read the sign on the side of the door, that's what it's identified as, a community building. So yes. We were calling it Department of Labor, old CID. So I just decided to go back to calling it what it was originally named.
All right. Well, it makes sense. Thank you very much. Okay. So why don't I open this up for discussion from anybody on the council if they have questions for Mr. Horton.
Mr. Mayor, this is William.
Yes.
I would like to refer to the letter that Ms. Elaine Kowarski of the Hospital Authority sent to us and to the city manager. In that letter, she is very specific about us needing to do some wellness visits. And I would like to be sure that wellness visits are certainly included in the scope of activity that the new director would investigate and hopefully get started. Mrs. Kowarski gave some references of agencies that do participate in this wellness visit, and of course we don't have the approval of the Hospital Authority right now, but their money has continued to build, I would presume, during this pandemic, and I would hope that they would support wellness visits for the percentage of our senior population that is most directly affected, the most lonely, the most isolated, the people that they find within the group that have the least support in the community. So I want to make sure, I know that we can't really exactly vote on a wellness visit, but I want to make sure that that's included in the scope of understanding that hopefully the senior center director would start to work on.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but yes, ma'am, that is in the scope. We are taking that into consideration. One of the biggest problems we've had is we've kind of got crunched last week with some major personnel issues over the last couple of weeks, and we haven't been able to focus on it like we need to. But that is one in our plan, and we do understand the socialization issues that Ms. Provinsky has brought up. Matter of fact, we have brought those and have been a part of discussions during meetings with them to bring that up. So we can certainly, we will continue with that. And I've been reminded this is not a director's position, this is a coordinator's position.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I beg your pardon.
No, ma'am, I did it too.
Okay. Well, Mr. Horton, one of the things to follow up on that, this is the mayor speaking, if you are investigating that, can you come back to council at the next meeting or whenever it's appropriate and just give us an update on how you feel you want to augment what's been proposed here?
Oh, yes, sir. We're not to that point yet, and we are actually working on that.
All right. So, Ms. Williams, city manager has taken on as a task to get back to us with the augment.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, this is Dave. I'm just wondering if in Mr. Horton's comments we answered Mr. White's question with respect to the cost of the meals plus the cost of the coordinator at the senior center, and we're putting enough money in there to fund both of those activities.
I'm sorry, Mr. Riley. Would you please restate the first part of that? I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I'll go again. This is Dave again. The question that Mr. White asked is sufficient funding there? His calculation indicated that the meals themselves would be $38,000, and the coordinator is what's listed in the budget ordinance, and I didn't see meals listed there myself, and that was a question that I had, is where the meals are covered in the budget ordinance.
Yes, sir. No, sir. We did not calculate at 80 like we were doing with the delivery program, because we feel like that we're going to see a reduced number that will be coming to the center to get it. If we see that happens, then we'll certainly come back to council, because the CARES money is there to be able to do that.
Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Horton, would not the hospital authority funding of meals be a supplement that we can attach to make sure that
Our thinking on that, Mr. Mayor, is that is going to be when we kick back off again, they will step in. Now, if we don't kick off again in January, then we'll certainly do that. Yes, sir. But
okay,
that's right. Kind of the thinking right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sir, we are not cutting the hospital authority out of it.
I just didn't know
we've got the CARES money, and yeah, we're hoping that the hospital authority will look more at the building and maybe some of the other activities as soon as we get the new our new coordinator in. Look at some of those items for funding and things of that nature.
Gotcha. Okay, good. All right, anyone else? All right, well, could I have a motion relative to the item E as it presented, with the understanding there's a tasking to come back for some additional augmentation?
Move to approve.
All right, that was Mr. Gant.
Yeah.
Riley, second.
Okay, I got Mr. Gant. How about a second?
Mr. Riley did,
Okay.
Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not hear that. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you go down the roster, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you mark that item as unanimous? Okay, now.
Yes, sir.
All right, Madam Clerk, make sure I don't miss something here. So, are we down to item R?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, Council, the quarterly town meetings approved really difficult to have, and in reading from Dr. Davis, our regional healthcare director for the coast for public health, and the concerns that seem to show up in the media publications of late relative to what they're calling a fall surge. I'm really reluctant to, again, have any kind of public meeting, and so I would like to cancel the quarterly town hall meeting, but what I'd like to propose is that the master plan be placed at an hour in front of the second meeting in October. And so I'd like to open that up for anybody's opinion, discussion. Good. Sounds like that is acceptable as a process? Everyone? Anyone?
Need a motion, Mayor?
Deborah,
Yes,
can we just have a motion? Oh, yeah, let's have a motion to cancel the town hall, quarterly town hall meeting and have the master plan update in front of the second meeting in October.
So moved.
Mr. Riley, is it your motion? Okay, can I have a second?
Second, Williams.
All right, any more discussion? All right, can I have a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, please mark that as unanimous. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, the last item is a Tyndall Enterprise Incorporated contract regarding water and wastewater treatment plants. Mr. Horton, obviously, I think you want to take this, please.
Actually, sir, I'd like to give this over to Bobby, if Bobby's on the line.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Mr. Marr. Thank you for staying with us. And I think we have Mr. As I said, we have Mr. Blackerby here if we have any other further questions. Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Marr.
All right. Yeah, basically back in October 2018, we hired Tyndall Enterprises to operate our wastewater treatment facilities. And then since then, back earlier this year, I believe it was April, we hired them to also start taking over our water plants when we lost our water plant operator. However, since they've taken over, we've had several instances of violations to the point 6 out of the last 8 months we've received notices of violation for things such as phosphorus and fecal on discharge. And it's not, I'm not seeing the willingness to make necessary improvements or change what they're doing. It's just month to month, the same old, same old. So I contacted, got with the city manager, and then he gave permission to get with the city attorney and to discuss what options we had available to us. And basically, in the letter that the attorney sent out to the council, he lays out his potential avenues for us to terminate the contract. So that's what I'm asking for tonight, is to terminate those contracts with Tyndall Enterprises. And then in the interim, contract with Clearwater Solutions. The proposal was attached in the packet for labor only, and that cost was $33,000. Trying to get to it here in my packet. $33,700 per month, which covers project manager, which is duly licensed in water and wastewater. It also covers 2 additional wastewater plant operators, as well as a water plant operator and a part-time technician laborer. So that's 4.5 positions that will be covered in that monthly contract. And if approved, then we would move forward with developing RFP to send out for bids per se, and from there. The problem when we originally went to the contracted services, we were not able to find licensed operators to come in to hire directly, and we have still been looking since then and can't find anyone to come in and pay you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mr. Blackerby, I want to make sure if there's something you'd like to weigh in on this topic. Otherwise, I think it's pretty clear. But if you would like to make any kind of comments,
I don't, unless anybody's got a specific question. I emailed earlier today all the council members proposed draft of a termination letter, and I tried to lay out in the letter the grounds on which we're authorized and entitled to cancel the contract in these circumstances. So unless somebody's got a question, I think it's pretty straightforward and set forth in that letter.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. So you're available if the council has questions. So let me open the floor up for anyone that might have questions for Mr. Blackerby, Mr. Marr, or Mr. Horton.
Mr. Marr, I guess this will go between you and Jennifer. Will there be any problem with the budget as far as this move is concerned? Will we be out of whack as far as the budget is concerned if we take this route?
No, sir. As I laid out, this is actually a less amount monthly than our current contract with Tyndall. The difference in the contract is lab work. The labs are less than the monthly contract.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Riley, Mr. Meyer, it might help if you told us what you know about the Clearwater systems and why we can expect a better service and higher level of performance from them.
Yeah, Clearwater Solutions is another large that deals with water, wastewater operations. Several many plants they operate. They just took over one here in the last week or two through bid process. And I can't remember right off Waynesboro or somewhere like that, but just very recently. And Clearwater Solutions also had proposed on our project 2 years ago, and were one of the finalists then. And they also operated on alternate months along with Tyndall in the interim until we actually decided on Tyndall taking over. So we have experience with them already. We know their capabilities. We've seen their resources. I don't have any reservations about them coming in and doing a good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Marr and your staff, I want to thank you for working through what I'm sure we're not getting the full impact of you trying to manage through this problem. But I think that this is decisive, and it improves the situation and takes us out from under a developing problem, which we really have never had and we don't need. So I appreciate you taking proactive work on this with city manager and Mr. Blackerby to move on. So anyone else before we go to a motion? Okay, may I have a motion as proposed for the termination of the contract with Tyndall Enterprises and a request approval of the temporary contract as proposed with Clearwater Solutions?
So move as stated, Alan Ramsey.
Mr. Ramsey, and second?
Second, Artie.
All right, Mr. Jones. All right, Madam Clerk, can you run the roster for me?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
Madam Clerk, that's unanimous. Mr. Marr, how do you actuate this? Is this immediate, or is there a transition, or what's your plan?
In speaking with Attorney Blackerby, he recommended an immediate separation, and so he will send out notice in the morning. And I have been in contact with Clearwater, and they are able to provide that manpower first thing in the morning. So they will be on site tomorrow.
Great. Okay. Thank you. As usual, well prepared. Appreciate it. And could you give us an update after the first 2 weeks, perhaps at the next council meeting, about your opinion of how it's going with the new Clearwater Solutions team?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'd all like to know. Thank you. I appreciate all of that. Now, Mr. Horton, and if you're up,
yes, sir.
Report from the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Real quick update on the shrimp. I know we're all getting tired of hearing it and really want it finished, but here it goes. The ground sprinklers have been installed at City Hall and at the pavilion. There's been a delay in the grass being put down due to the rain. As soon as the sod is cut, it will be placed on a truck and delivered the next day for installation. The traffic center line and the parking spaces had to be rescheduled due to weather, and they are scheduled now for September the 28th. If there's a problem that day, it'll be the next available day that'll go in, and so forth and so on.
Is that GDOT, Mr. Horton?
Say that again?
Is that the GDOT work?
That is the GDOT's contractor, yes, sir.
Yes, okay, thank you.
The bollards that will go in that grassy area in front of the pavilion, they're on order, but they should be here within the next week to 2 weeks. As soon as they come in, they will be installed. And everybody's wondered what we're doing with the grassy area. Well, we're going to put picnic tables out there on the grass so when families come down to the waterfront and they can sit out on the picnic tables and have a picnic, overlook the river, and just a nice place to sit and gather. The next thing is the Cumberland Inlet, which is the Jacoby project. The bond hearing was held and completed on September 12th, 2020. The next step is closing. We're waiting on confirmation on when that date should happen. The Douglas Drive Drainage Project, we're still waiting on the contractor, TDS. Once they've completed their work, our contractor's ready to go and finish up.
Mr. Horton, are they actually doing anything, or are they still talking about it?
No, sir, we're over the talking part. Materials have been placed on order. We are aware of.
Okay.
We don't know what the status is on that. Mr. Marr's been working on that every week, but that was the last we've got.
So you're satisfied that TDS is actually moving?
Yes, sir, we are satisfied with that. It was just a matter of when.
Hey, Mr. Horton, if I can jump in real quick. I am trying to get a meeting set up at the TDS contractor's request. They want to sit down and talk about that design TDS had come up with. I think they have a better solution. So we're going to be sitting down next week or so.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Bobby.
Well, we're all, once said, so from a time frame for council, what's the expected between TDS and St. Mary's work crews, et cetera? Do you have any estimate of a completion date? Probably not a fair question, but if you can give us some idea.
It really shouldn't take that long once that materials and all are actually on site and they can get the boards and stuff done. So I would expect once they're on site within 30 to 45 days, but I'll know more after I meet with them in the next week or so.
Okay. So from a layman's standpoint, we're staring at the estimate will probably be done by the end of the year for sure, unless something else comes up.
We're hoping.
Yeah, that's what we're.
All right. We're not holding it to you. We're just, I think, just having some perspective on when that might be done. Thank you.
All right. The next thing is the airport. With the approval of the urban redevelopment plan that y'all passed this evening, that is the first phase in getting our RFP out. At our next council meeting, you'll probably see 3 additional items on the agenda. 2 of them being in regards to the urban redevelopment plan, the actual plan, and you'll probably also see the RFP. That's our plan at this point in time. The salary study, Carl Vinson is collecting the salary data from the other cities along with job descriptions to be able to compare to ours. We've turned in all of our stuff, so it's kind of in their hands right now, but we should receive a final report and recommendation no later than November 30th. Just as a reminder, we're still in the midst of hurricane season. Please stay vigilant. If everybody watched the tropics last week, we had at one time had 7 either storms or potential storms spinning at the same time. So please stay vigilant on that. The next thing, time is running out on Census 2020. Please take 10 minutes and go to www.2020census.gov and click on the respond button on the middle of the page and answer 10 easy questions. People being counted affects the amount of money your local governments get from the federal and state government. Also affects the representation in the House of Representatives. Please remember, you count. So please go to that site and please get on there. We're going to be reminding everyone again on Facebook probably tomorrow. The final thing, just a reminder for our council, mainly that we'd have our retreat scheduled for council and senior management is November 19th and 20th. More on that will be coming shortly. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report for this evening.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're granting audience to the public, and you, I think we have Mr. Larry White again?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. White, are you on?
On, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Just, if you would, your name and address and respect the 5-minute interval. Thank you.
Larry White, 102 Sylvia's Court in St. Mary's. Several years ago, I had talked about this at one of the city council meetings about trailer signs for political signs, and I think Artie probably remembers this one also, talking about trailer signs. I looked it up in the Code of Ordinance, and if you look at Section 46-137 of the Code, which is the definitions, it says trailer sign is defined as any sign mounted on wheels and that can be moved from one location to another. And if you take the literal definition of that, that also includes signs on the back of pickup trucks. And if you look at Section 46-146 of the Code of Ordinance, which is prohibited signs, subparagraph 14 of that, under that paragraph, states as trailer signs. It says the following signs are prohibited in all zoning districts of the city except as otherwise specifically approved by this section. So you need to have, I think the city manager and the code enforcement officer ought to take a look at that. And the only other thing I have is early voting starts October the 12th. So please get out and vote if you haven't already requested your absentee ballot.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for that. Appreciate the time. Thank you very much. All right, Madam Clerk, can you take us through the calendar?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow on Tuesday, September 22nd at 3:00 p.m., the St. Mary's CVB will be holding their meeting via teleconference. At 5:30 p.m. tomorrow in council chambers, the Historic Preservation has canceled their meeting due to no agenda items. Also at 6:00 p.m. tomorrow in the Main Street office is a Stormwater Enterprise Study Working Committee. On Wednesday, September 23rd at 5:30 p.m., the Planning Commission meeting will be held in council chambers. On Thursday, October 1st. I'm sorry?
Madam Clerk, so you'll make sure that you get a hold of Mr. Pedro, so hopefully he can make that meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
On Thursday, October 1st, the fourth quarter town hall meeting has been canceled, and the fourth quarter master plan meeting has been moved to October 19th. On Monday, October 5th at 6:00 p.m. City Council meeting.
Great. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate it. Okay. So we're down to council comments, and why don't we go down the roster, the virtual roster, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a whole lot to say. I just wanted to thank the staff and the workers that we have for the city of St. Mary's. They've been doing a tremendous job throughout this new way of living. I'd also like to thank all of those that serve on these committees for your patience and for you observing social distancing. And remember that we owe it to each other to protect each other, and especially in St. Mary's. And thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Goodman.
I don't really have any comments tonight except to express appreciation to all of the workers who've worked real hard to get us through the recent flooding and things. We do need to not put mulch back in those retention ponds because that's going to clog the drains. It needs to be rocks or something that won't float. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Jim. I like that idea a lot. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Gant.
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm very pleased that we're starting to show some life back in the senior program. It's been difficult with the virus, and we've had to cut back the program so much. And now we're starting to show life and moving a plan to move forward, and hiring our coordinator, I think, is a great step in the right direction. And the only other thing I've got is mask. I noticed that our numbers for the virus are continue to increase. The good news is the deaths have stopped, knock on wood, but the number of cases keeps climbing. And so we have to still be very vigilant and keep our distance and wear our mask. And even though some people poo-poo them, they work. And so we just need to do that to get this virus, and it's some kind of a life back to the way it was normally before the virus hit us. And that's all I've got.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. And our citizens do too. Mr. Riley.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Mr. Gann's comments in both the senior center and the social distancing and prevention of the COVID. They're very relevant comments and much appreciated. Also wanted to mention that during this last period between council meetings, I had the opportunity to attend a 8-hour GMA course online, and it was cultural diversity. And I would strongly recommend that if anybody has an opportunity to attend that course, they should. There's a lot of discussion in there amongst the people, and it helps greatly in understanding the views of different people, and that's what's needed if we're ever going to work our way through it, is to understand and take action accordingly. Second thing, I'd like to thank all my colleagues and the council for the approval of the GOSP resolution. That not only completes East Coast Greenway in the north end, but it also provides all the citizens to the north a safe passage on Winding Road, which if we get the next phase awarded, it's going to be, and that's the building of the path. This one is for going after the engineering. So it's a couple years out, but it's the first step and a well-needed step. And for the city clerk, and I apologize, the Stormwater Task Force is not going to meet for the rest of the year due to the COVID virus. We wanted to monitor those. Our next steps are in the training area, and we're not allowed to get crowds together. So we're going to be working in the background on presentations and things like that. But there won't be any meetings, and I'll get that to you officially so that you can put that out tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rassi.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what my previous council members shared about our city staff and about the senior center. I tell you, we're blessed beyond measure with our city staff, and for their dedication and for their vision to make our city better through this pandemic. And I want to thank Robbie for his incredible leadership, and I just we're just so blessed to be able to have the leadership team that we have here, and I really thoroughly enjoy working with my fellow council members. That's all I have.
Thank you. I think that's a ditto, sir. All right, yes, ma'am, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Mayor, this is a side note to what my fellow council members have already said about this COVID virus. I have been trying to post nearly every day on my Facebook page the current counts, and so far it hasn't gone away. And as a special thing to take in regarding this virus, I want to remind people that many people who have the virus are asymptomatic. They're not coughing, they're not having a headache, they're not having breathing difficulties, they're not exhibiting any of the signs that typically would let them know that they have the virus. So if they wear a mask and you wear a mask when you're in their presence and you try to keep your social distance, then you won't catch that virus from these asymptomatic people. We've got to remember constantly that that is a factor in this virus hanging on so long. And I just pray that our fair state and our fair city can soon be passed and let this thing be history.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. If I could, I just have a couple of brief comments. Thank you, Mr. White, for reminding everybody that as voting is coming up, and we have 4 precincts now in St. Mary's. And if anybody has questions, the county has an excellent site that's been created on their county site relative to voting, precinct locations, and any of the information you might have relative to voting. So I'd encourage you, if you do have some specifics, we can try and help you, but the county directional website specifically relative to voting is really excellent. So please make sure you take a look at that. And to Mr. Riley, the stewardship program is to me an excellent example of the coordinated work that's gone on with all the municipalities and organizations in the county as far as supporting something that has value for everyone. So, I mean, it was pretty impressive write-up relative to the contributions that everybody's making towards trying to get this done. And I think we had a portion of it, which is, I think, a fair portion, but thank you very much for that. And finally, I just want to end with COVID, and I think, anytime the governor comes out with an executive order, I do go on Facebook just to remind everybody that the governor is continuing those executive orders, and they are still in place. And I can tell you, I know this feels a little bit morbid, but I had 2 conversations today with staff people, with friends of theirs who, not necessarily old, but friends who have passed away because of COVID. So it was pretty telling. And then I read a rather extensive article about people who get COVID, and they've been dubbed lingerers, in that their recovery from COVID is taking many, many months, and it's very difficult, and they're seemingly very healthy people in their 30s and 40s. So this is a very unique pandemic and disease, and I think someday when they analyze it, we'll find out what it really is and probably be even more scared of it than we are right now. So please wear your masks. Absolutely. Protect yourself, and help protect others. We appreciate it. So there is no executive session. So if I could have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. How about a second? Mr. Jones, all right. You go down and do the roster.
Yes, sir. Councilman Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilman Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilman Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilman Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilman Rassy, post 5.
Yay.
Councilman Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, that's unanimous. And I want to thank council and all our citizens for listening in tonight. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. And I guess we're going to start seeing what fall's like. Thank you very much. Have a great night.